Welcome back. Another episode of the Hawk Vision Podcast. I'm your host, Chuck Hawkins, here to help you shorten the learning curve on your way to greatness. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe across all of your social media platforms, especially here at YouTube. More importantly, share this podcast with other visionaries just like you. Guys, we are doing something big here, working to be the premier location to help you bridge the gap to your personal and professional success. And I can't thank you enough for all the DMs, the comments, and messages. We absolutely cannot grow this show without you guys, my visionaries. So this week's visionary of record, right? I'm super excited. Is someone that I've had my eye on for a good minute online. I've been an absolute fan of hers on Instagram, where she has a following almost 10,000 strong that she is helping to understand the world of personal and more importantly, business credit. She's been seen on CBS, NBC, ABC, so much more. She's the author of the book From Broke to Black Card, and is emerging as one of the leading trusted voices in credit restoration, business credit, financial coaching. You know her as Mish, the credit pro. This week's visionary, Kimesha Janey. Welcome to the show.
Hey. Thank you so much, Chuck, for having me. I appreciate you, and I'm super duper excited to be here.
Absolutely. Listen, we're going to have some fun. You know, this one was a long time coming. We had to get it done.
Yeah.
So listen, before we jump into all the good stuff, I have to ask, we just talked about it a little bit, but how does it feel to be the daughter of the first Black mayor of Boston, Massachusetts?
Yeah, it's dope. It has it's like so surreal, it's a big adjustment, but I'm super proud of my mom. She was a teen mom.
Oh, wow.
She got pregnant with me at 15, had me at 16. And I think it just shows, that, anything is possible. And she's worked really hard. And I'm just super, super proud of everything that she's been doing. But, this too is a whole nother achievement that she's, had. So yeah, it's dope. It's pretty dope.
No, I'm excited. I mean, even when I was doing the research, I saw it, and so for you to, for us to have that quick little banter back and forth, I think it's super, super exciting. I'm a politics nerd. Not a lot of people know that about me, and so I probably got tons of questions on the back end. So me and Miles might have to talk too. But thank you for joining the show. I've been a fan for quite some time. I want to respect your time, so we will jump straight in. Let's get the easy question out of the way. Where were you in life when you decided you wanted to work for yourself, launch a business, be an entrepreneur? What was going on?
So this is not my first business. I had a business in my early 20s. And I think back then I had great ideas, right? In your early 20s, that's what I had anyways. I had great ideas, but I didn't have the discipline and the understanding of business to really grow that thing. But back then I was doing it was before blogs were popular, and that's really what I was doing. I was blogging and doing fashion and things like that, and I was connected with celebrity stylists. I remember being young and interviewing Christian Artigier, one of the owners of Ed Hardy, and celebrity stylist of Lauryn Hill, and video vixens, and I did stuff like that, but I just didn't really keep up with it. And if I had some issue with the website, but I started Financial Growth Strategies back in 2017.
Okay.
And for me, I always knew personally that I wanted to be in a place where I didn't have to work. I wasn't sure when my 9-to-5 journey was going to end, and didn't necessarily felt like it had to end. Yeah. I was pretty successful at in my career, and I always liked my job, so that was a plus. It was like an easy job, and I was in upper management, and it wasn't, I got to work from home times and made a decent salary. So It was whatever, right? But for me, it was important to get to the place where I didn't have to work. Even if I decided to continue to work, I didn't have to. And I worked for the largest fragrance retailer in the United States at the time as a district sales manager. And I had like territories all throughout New England, and I would travel and such. And in my position, like I would see a lot of the financials, the profit and loss statements. And I'm like, oh,
Yes.
this company ain't doing too well. When I'm looking at the numbers, you
Right.
know, and then I'm like seeing like, you know, stores closing. And at that time, you know, around 2016 and 2017, so many retailers were closing. You know, I was seeing articles, Macy's closing this many stores, Sears closing this many stores. You know, the online business and market was just, it was not to be, it was no joke, you know, and it was hard. Times were changing. And for me, I just felt like the writing was on the wall, not only for my company, but for box retail in general. You know, I felt like even when I was younger, I felt like the internet was super powerful and a tool to use that we should use to build wealth. Hence my old business in my early 20s. So I said, well, I should start an online business because I don't know what's gonna happen with my company. So I did that. And you know, I was just waiting, you know, like for them to like lay me off. You know, they was closing my district left and right.
You just knew it was coming.
Yeah, I think I started with like, let's say I had maybe like 15 stores in my territory, right? Okay. And I think I might have been down to 5, and they still paying me the same salary, which is, you know,
right. I ain't gonna say nothing. Exactly.
Yeah, you know, but I'm like, oh, this is getting crazy. You know, when is this gonna end? So I was waiting for the ball to drop,
right?
And I was just waiting, and I'm like, it was taking forever for them to lay me off, but then they laid me off. And, you know, I'll never forget, like my boss, he sounded so sad. And I was like, oh no, you know, I was planning for this for over a year. So made sure my bank account was right. I already had my business registered. You know, I already started little things in my business. So for me, that was God telling me like, all right, it's time to, you know, I made a decision there. I'm not going to go back and work for anybody again. You know, this is the time, you know. Right. So while I had the opportunity to get that little severance package, I had my savings, collect unemployment, why don't I start building my business? And that's what I did. And I ain't looked back since.
I love it. I love it. So a lot to unpack there, and the horrible person in me has made me, when you said you started in your 20s, I love that, because I think in my 20s, I just had, you know, bad decisions and regrets and hustles and all that good stuff. And it's funny because I had Monet Everett on, who's a celebrity hairstylist, and she talked about video vixens and working on the show Empire and all that. And it's funny because we had this little running joke where we were saying it was a whole lot of Luke dancers that are grandmothers now. Right. And so we every time I hear, you know, Twitties and video vixens, I'm like, I run that joke in my head. It's like there are 2 live crew dancers that are grandmothers right now, and possibly it might be some tip drill grandmothers right now too.
Definitely.
Yeah, because that's a minute. So let me get back on track. Business credit. There's always this bear with me, right? Because there's always this social media tend to grab a narrative and run with it. They'll say, start your LLC, get 20K in funding, and boom, invest in properties. Like, and I feel like they skip over steps. Shouldn't the business be profitable first? Like, how does one build business credit from scratch? What are the steps?
You know, I wouldn't even say a business needs to be profitable first, you know, because really that's how you can get profitable. It takes money to make money. Okay. You know, so the first step is, you know, understanding business. And one of the things that was like a game changer, because when I first started my business, you know, I wasn't using business credit, and I didn't even know about business credit. I actually started, and you know, nobody really knows this, I don't really talk about it, but when I first started my business, I was doing more career stuff like career coaching, because I had a lot of success in my career.
Yes.
And but you know, people will always come to me with credit and financial stuff because you know, I did okay for myself. You know, I always had a good job. That was one thing about me. But not only did I always have a good job, I always had money, because I was somebody who live below my means, you
Gotcha.
know?
Okay.
So a lot of people would come to me about financing and credit and things like that. So I almost fell into it because, you know, I was trying to force career stuff, but what was, you know, people were flocking to me about financial stuff. So
Yeah.
I started doing consumer credit, and I struggled in my business. I struggled in my business for a couple of years, and I was just like, dag, like maybe I will have to go back to work, you know?
Yes.
But the pride in me, I'm an Aquarius. I don't know too much about astrology, but I know about me. I have a lot of pride and I'm stubborn as all hell. So I'm like, yeah, nah, I can't let people, you know what I'm saying? Like I gotta figure it out.
Right.
And I was studying Russell Brunson. And in one of his seminars, he's the co-founder of ClickFunnels.
Yeah.
But he was talking about how important it is to test in business, because you're supposed to fail. Everything's not supposed to work. That's not how it works.
Right.
So you have to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And he said that most businesses fail because they run out of money in the testing phase before they figure out what works. You know, so I knew then, I was like, all right, that gives me some insight. I need to get my hands on some money, because it's okay that I'm failing and I haven't really figured out what's going on, because that's part of the process. Certain things, sometimes you might even think, you know, oh, it's something that's successful. You might not even know that it's not successful until you try something else and you're like, oh, this is where it's at, you know?
Yes.
So yeah, I learned about that. And then, so for me, I wasn't necessarily profitable prior to building business credit. Once I got business credit, I tripled my sales in business.
So how does one go from having like the EIN, right? And you file for your Dun and Bradstreet, all that stuff is free for the most part, but actually building business credit is different from consumer credit, right? I can't just go take, you know, my LLC or maybe I can, teach me and apply for a credit card under the business name, right? They're gonna say what?
Yeah, no, it's definitely, you know, one thing about business credit, it is baby steps, right? And I think that's important for anybody to learn in business, period. You know, like you have to really be willing to put in the work. So you got to be willing to put in the work and work for lower and maybe even sometimes free when you're first starting out, you know, and then raise your prices. And same thing goes in terms of building business credit. You got to start off with, you know, you can't jump to a credit card, you know. Maybe you can if you have really good consumer credit and, you know, they'll do a personal guarantee, but you start off with like, you know, little trade accounts and net 30 accounts and office accounts. I like to compare it to like, with consumer credit, when you're trying to build credit, you know, you might start off with a secured credit card or a jewelry card or things like that to build your consumer credit, right? So
shout out to Crescent Jewelers. I remember that was like the first credit card we had back in the day.
You know, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, business credit is the same type of process where, you know, you're not going to get in there and just say, oh, let me get 50,000 straight out the gate with no financials, no nothing. You know, you work your way up and you build your business credit score. Now, the beauty about business credit, it happens so much faster than consumer credit, so much faster, you know, like, and that's why I love it and primarily do business credit now. But you know, on the consumer side, there's so much that goes into that FICO formula, right? They're taking into account your utilization, your type of credit, how long you had credit, do you pay on time? So if you don't already have credit, it's going to take 6 months just to generate a FICO score. And then it takes years before you can build what they deem excellent credit. On the business credit side, it happens very fast because there's not a lot that goes into your payback score. They're more focused on how many lenders have lent to you and do you pay on time. Now, there's other things that help your business profile in terms of funding and lending, but in terms of that score, it can happen really quickly. Once you open up, you know, 4 or 5 accounts, you're already going to have a decent credit score, you know, so you start off with those easy accounts. Typically, like I said, there'll be some type of vendor accounts and product based. And those are the accounts that you don't need the 3 C's for. We call those 3 C's: cash flow, collateral, and credit. You don't need any of those things to get initial business credit.
Okay.
But once you open up those accounts and you do what you're supposed to do, then it becomes easier and easier and easier to get more accounts, other types of credit, the credit cards, lines of credit, funding, and things like that.
So is it the same in business credit, right? We always talk about most people say 30% of your available credit, right? But you you teach 10% of your available credit, right? So that your score is good on the consumer side. Is it the same on business where you should have about 10%, or how does that work?
Utilization is not really a factor with business credit. Another thing that makes it, is super dope. Like it's not a factor in terms of, hurting your score or anything like that, because they understand, like, if they give you, it takes money to make money in business, right? And you might have a certain need for a certain amount of money. Like, my consumer credit, I'm in the 800s. And right now, my card might be like, a little over 20,000.
Yes.
Which is decent, on a consumer side. But that's small on the business side, where on the business side, I could have 50 or 100,000. There's no need for that on the consumer side. Like, what do you need? You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't need that type of money. So, they don't want you spending, like, they look at it on the consumer side because it's not for business, it's for pleasure, right? Just for you to consume things. Oh, if you're using that much, something's wrong. Like that, in case of emergency. And if there is, if you're utilizing all that, that means you can't afford, you're living above your means. But business credit, if they give me 100,000, they understand that, that money is to turn 100,000 into 200,000,
Right.
So it's not they're not penalizing you in that sense.
So it's really the difference between consumption versus production on business credit, right? They expect you to produce on the business side, and then on the consumer side, they're just pretty much giving you a glorified payday loan because they know you just going to shop, basically, right? Or pay,
and that's
groceries
what,
and things
that's
like
what
that.
that's what they're hoping for, So exactly. So, and the idea of it, even to me on a consumer credit, it should be the same thing. Like with consumer credit, I still try not to use my consumer credit to shop like that.
Right.
I still, to me, all credit should be leveraged and it should be used to make you more money. If I'm going to pay more for something, shouldn't I make sure that something pays me more money? And for the most part, I won't use my consumer credit unless it's to make me more money and I'm not paying interest.
Explain that to me. So does that mean you would
interest.
she said, I don't pay interest.
Yeah,
My wife would love to hear this conversation. She is the queen of, I have zero interest for 6 months to a year.
Hello.
Put everything there, and run it back. Is it hard to get a credit mindset when you come from, let's say the average person comes from the background of robbing Peter to pay Paul, trying to figure out, this extra $1,000 in the month where the gap is? How do you get control of your credit, even on the business side, when it's something that, I guess maybe it's really an income problem, right? When you are overextending yourself?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I think just because you have the credit, it doesn't mean that you need to use it. Right. So like I couldn't even tell you how many credit cards I have. I really couldn't. I have a lot,
Yeah.
But I don't carry, I might carry one credit card, I might have like 20, but maybe I'll carry one, maybe.
Okay.
I usually just carry my debit and my debit cards.
Okay.
And that's what I use to live, like if I don't have the money for it, I don't have the money for it. The credit doesn't necessarily suddenly give me the money for it. And so I think that's the difference. Like, just really having the mindset. It's not to buy something that you can't afford. It's not to try to impress people, that don't really care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People broke to impress. So that's not, it's not what it's for. The reason why I have so many credit cards, I do it for a few reasons. And, one, I'm going to be, this probably sounds crazy.
Okay.
But I remember seeing John Q. You know that movie?
Yeah.
My
Oh my
son's not
God.
gonna bury me. No, I'm not gonna bury my son. My son's gonna bury me, right? So I remember seeing that movie. I'm like boo-hooing. I was young when I saw that when that movie came out, and they're like the son had health problems, and they're
Yes.
trying to
No
scrape up
insurance.
money.
Yeah.
And I just was like, never. Like I gotta be in a position where if something ever went down,
Yeah.
if I needed some access, I could have that access, Right. So for me, that's why I was like, something ever happened with my kids, like, nah, so it's just having that available. And I'll continue to do that because now I'm in a position of power because of the type of credit profile that I built, where it's just like, well, what are you going to do for me? So I use my cards. It'll be for the points.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get something out of
Cash
it.
back, travel points.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's what really it needs to be about. You can't, and even when I do and help other people with their consumer credit, my methods are a little bit different. My tagline for financial growth strategies is I say I'm not a credit restoration company, I'm a financial growth company. A lot of credit restoration companies, I don't operate how they do. I don't believe in charging high monthly fees and a setup fee and a this and that, because if somebody's paying you $90 a month to do something that they can do themselves, how is that going to help your client get into a position of power? And at the same time, they don't know. You have to understand credit, or you're going to be, and they don't want you to understand it. Right. Because they want you to keep paying them. Right. So if you don't know how to fix your credit, if you don't understand how credit works, it's going to be in a circle that you just can't get out of. So it's important to understand how to use credit, understand what it means, and also have the discipline, finances, budgeting. Like I provide my credit clients with, we go over budgeting, financial calculators, how they know which credit cards to start paying off, how much debt should you pay off versus how much debt should you keep on your cards, right. And things like that. So it's not just about credit. It's more, it's a whole, financial sphere, if you will.
Absolutely. I think this is a good place to really quickly talk about the 5 C's of credit that you have, because that was the post that you had, and I almost threw my phone. I was like, that's the perfect way to explain it. So can you break down, Kimesha, the 5 C's of credit?
Yeah, let me, I'm not even gonna lie. I think I know what post you're talking about. So it's like the collateral, right? And
yes.
Yeah. And I say that because I'm like, they be, I have my team.
Oh, you're fine. We had the character, capacity, collateral.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I remember the post. Yeah.
That was it had me so hyped. I was like, this is it.
Yeah. So, character. There's certain things about your credit profile that they're going to be able to deem of you from your character. And even like little things when you hear like, oh, I got to clean my credit, certain things that people don't realize, like if you have like a gazillion addresses, that's not good towards the character, right? And that could be like a red flag, to some lenders, you know what I mean? And then you have to also have the capacity to pay back the money, right? You have to have the ability to pay back the money. So if you are, if I always tell people to break it down into like their own personal situation, right? If you know that I owe your uncle $100 and I haven't paid your uncle, and then I come to you asking you for some money, you feel comfortable? It's
absolutely.
Yeah,
we get the side eye.
Nah, you still owe uncle, you know what I'm saying? Like, hold up, So that's how it's looked at, with utilization and things like that. Like, I know it's crazy, but they want to lend to people that don't really need the money. They don't want to give you the money and you're hard up.
Yes.
And that means they probably won't get the money back. They want to get their money back and then some, you know. And then capital, right? You got to have that. More so comes into play with where they actually know for larger scales of credit. Like you want to buy a home, they're going to look at your debt to income ratio, you know. Even on credit cards, you know, they'll ask you like your income, but it's not like that's something that they verify or check, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Or look into. But for larger purchases like a home, then your income to debt will come into play with that one. Collateral, they're always going to want some type of collateral 9 times out of 10 on the consumer side. Yes. Once your purchases get to a certain amount, you know, they don't want to lend you $50,000 and keep their fingers crossed. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's where, you know, your home is the collateral when you buy a house. Your car is the collateral when you buy a car. You know, student loans, and I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
There's not necessarily collateral on that, but what they do is they make
common sense.
Possible.
I think common sense is the collateral for student loan debt. If you knew better, you probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and they make it impossible. Like, you know, if you got outstanding government debt and stuff like that, then good luck trying to get a house. You know what I mean? So it's gonna mess up everything else for you in that process. And then the conditions, the terms of the loans, right? You know, the better your credit history is, the better conditions you'll get. Where, like I said, I'm not paying interest. And when I tell you they send me offers, like I did a balance transfer probably 3 months ago. And I had like all of, you know, I moved all of my credit card debt onto one card. And that's another reason why you got to keep it low, right? Because I have all these cards, but when I do a balance transfer, I don't want to boom suddenly be utilizing more than 30%, you know?
Right.
So and then I just got a better offer. You know, I love one of my favorite banks is Navy Federal. So they offered me something, no interest. So I switched it. I just did one a couple of months ago with somebody else. And I moved it to Navy Federal. And now the one that I took it off of, they trying to get me back over there. Oh, balance transfer, you know, come back.
You just got a bunch of ex-boyfriend banks, right? They're just trying to come back to you.
Exactly. You know, I use them for what I need, you know.
I love
they're relying on people to, you know, the fact of the matter is that's how we should do it, but they know that's not how most people will do it. So.
Yeah. Switching gears just a little bit, as a mom, right? What's the part of running a business that you wish would have came with some instructions?
As a mom, what's the part of running a business that I wish would have come with instructions? You know, one of the things that I'm struggling with really is getting my kids involved. I want to know how I could go and go about that better.
Yeah.
And it's a fine line. You know, my kids, my oldest biological son, he's 17. And it's like, you know, he's to the age where I want him doing certain stuff, but I'm like, I gotta, you know, it's still business. You know, are you ready?
Right.
You know, so how does that work? And what does that look like wearing the mom hat and then wearing the boss hat?
Right.
And not giving breaks. So I do want to learn that. And it's also the balancing act. I think it's very challenging for a mom and woman in business because, you know, you're focused on, you know, trying to build this empire, but at the same time, regardless of how your household may view it, but the world will view you as what you're supposed to be doing as mom. You know, what comes first, you know? Right. And so it's just really finding that the right balance and trying to incorporate, you know, my children when I am working, you know, how can I incorporate them where they're not left out? in the scheduling of it. So
Gotcha.
one of the beauties of business, I would say, is, controlling your schedule. So I can, bring my daughter to school every morning. She'll have to
Yes.
take the bus. Her dad and I, we bring her to school. And we can be at every, there's nothing going on right now.
Right,
But
right. You
if
have the
there's,
option, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's definitely a plus. But I wish there was some instructions on like the right balance and
Yeah.
getting them a part of the business and understanding the business and what does that look like. Like I want to build a family business. I don't want this to be my business. I want at least one of my children to be a part of the business and get some inside. I start learning young,
Right.
so yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not easy. I have a past guest, Denise the broker, who's a good friend, and one of her things that she does with her son is she makes it a point to include. She's in real estate, of course, but one of the things that she does is she makes it a point to include him in the process of putting deals together and then showing him the reward. Right. And I think, I have a 14-year-old. I have, older daughters as well. And it's hard. I completely agree with you. It is so hard to get them to see the vision of where it can go past, the immediate things that they look at, right? Like some shoes dropped this morning and my daughter was like, Dad, some shoes. And I'm like, well, let me tell you how we earned the money to get these shoes. And she's like, yeah, whatever, click the button, like, so I totally agree. That is, I think that's one of our hardest battles that we face, as entrepreneurs, especially for women in business, because being a mom trumps everything. Oh, I hate I had to use that word. Everything, in terms of having to be there and be stretched. But it's definitely commendable, and you've been killing it. So I want to definitely acknowledge that. At this stage of your professional life, what would either be the title to your next book or what would be your theme song?
That is a dope question.
Well, thank you. We do try to get some good ones in here.
Right now, I'm going to say like I was in the car and I always liked this song,
Okay.
but I was really vibing to it. The Fat Joe, Remy Ma, and French Montana. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Yeah,
hey, let's go.
all the way up. Like, things are doing going very well for me in business, and that's dope, right? But what gives me even a better feeling is I just see like oh, this is coming.
Yes.
Like the seeds have been planted and I'm just now starting to reap the benefits of my labor, right? But now I'm not like eating the seed, I'm replanting the seed. So it's just like, oh, this is even crazier where it's gonna go. I'm now I call 2021 the year of the scale, where everything, I'm seeing a lot of the fruits of my labor, and the money is coming in, and it's like, okay, good, finally, right?
Yes.
But it's also, again, living below my means, key, and not trying to, and just reinvesting that back in my business. And it's a little difficult because you want to do some stuff. I mean, you want to really, enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Right.
So, I'm trying to enjoy it a little bit, and I enjoy it in terms of the time. I enjoy it when I look at my bank account. But I know, like, put it back in there because it's going to help with the 5-year plan,
Absolutely.
and that's going to be a whole nother level. So I would say that would be my theme song. Like, I'm just so and I'm not always like this, like I definitely, it's crazy because I feel like I went from literally the worst year in my life to the best year in my life, so it's just, I feel so happy. Everything's coming together, business wise, friends wise, financially, so I would say that would be my theme song.
I love it. And that leads perfectly to my next question. When you hear yourself referred to as a visionary? How does it feel? What does it mean to you?
Oh, I don't know that people's referring to me as that. Okay, okay, okay.
Listen, you on the Hawk Vision podcast. You are officially a
Oh,
visionary. But I'm
thank you.
watching, no, but I say that because I'm watching how the business, at least online, right? And we all know that half is marketing, but half is real life. But I'm watching all the reviews. I'm watching people comment. I'm watching, all of the results that you're having because I've been following you for more than a year, right? So I see where the growth is. When you hear yourself referred to as a visionary, how does it feel? What does it make you think of?
It makes me feel proud. To me, I'm all about legacy and each one teach one. And educating really, even like I said, how I run my business when it comes to consumer credit, and really just if you work with me, it's hands-on,
Right.
same thing with business credit. You got a whole team that's working with you, and that's how I offer the guarantee. So, it's beautiful. I always for me, my goal honestly has always been to make my mama proud, because I'm like,
Love
mama
it.
sacrificed so much for me. And I was a hot mess when I was young. Okay.
Okay.
A whole hot mess. Like I done got kicked out of like every school from 8th grade up,
Now, what was you doing to get? Is that a whole other podcast? Is that?
that's a whole other podcast. Okay. I made it, like I did make it across the state. Like I didn't graduate 8th grade, got kicked out, got expelled. 9th grade, I got sent to the Barron Center. I was when I tell you every single school, okay? I went to 4 different high schools. Okay. I was a
one,
mess.
one for each grade.
One for each grade, absolutely, So, I know my mother, she was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing wrong?
Right, right.
So for me, it's like, okay, ma, everything wasn't in vain. I know I gave those, you had some rough years,
Right.
but you sacrificed so much for me. My goal is to really take care of those who I love. So that's just my focus. I have people on my list, my parents, my godparents, my grandparents, and my children. I want to make sure that they're like really, 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 really good. So it's dope. It really is. It feels good. And like I said, it feels good feeling like, I'm not where I want to be, but I can appreciate where I am and what's
Yeah.
coming and what I'll
Yeah.
be able to do.
I think that's huge. There's no better feeling than being able to reap the rewards of the hard work that you put in when nobody was watching, right? When you were, trying to put it together up late, get the kids together for bed or whatever the case is, check homework, and then you crack open a laptop and you're like, I'm tired, but you're still putting it in, and then you can get in the car and you can feel, I'm all the way up, right? And then and you can see it. You can look at the accounts, you can do the balance transfers, you can say, I don't pay interest, right? Like that's rich energy right there. Let me ask you this. I had Ash Cash, I'm sure you're familiar with him on the show last year, and he said that we have to change the relationship we have with money.
Money. Yeah, I love Ash. Shout out to Ash. That's my homie, man.
On the business side, what do you think that our community can do to understand business credit faster and use it faster?
I think what our community can do is the biggest thing is invest in themselves. Um, honestly, like I struggle. And I'm just now gonna like focus on getting back on social media and Instagram. I'm not a big social media person, and it is important
Sure.
with business, but it just drives me crazy because the DMs that I get of people wasting my time. Like,
I'm
I
sure.
never met you. I never heard of you. You want me to call you to help you with your what? Straight. Oh, can you call me? I need some help with,
Right,
like,
right.
but You
At
don't
least
have
they're appearing to want help with credit, right?
but you're not appearing to, because like, and maybe I just don't get it, because I would never. Here's the thing, like, you want to talk to me, there's a fee to get me on the phone. You have to pay for my time. You know what I mean? And I have people every day, literally every single day. That's the majority of my business is I do consultations.
Yeah.
So, and I invest. I can't even tell you how much money that I've invested. I've done stuff with Ash Cash, with King Ashley Inn, Hood Estates and Pocky, and you know what I mean? I'm always going to invest in my education. So I think, the thing that people can do, you have to respect people's time and their craft. And, it's like, you might hit me up and you want help with, something with credit. Okay, I got a book. It's only $39. You don't have money for a book, but you have money to, that's not $39. Come on.
Right. That's not a good bottle of whiskey.
You're right. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
I think that's what we can do. And it's not about me, because sometimes, I'll kindly like tell people like, oh no, like, well, you want this, or, oh, I already told you, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh yeah, my bad. I didn't get the book. It's not, I don't, not like that. I would love for people to buy my book, but my credit score is already in the 800s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like calling Denzel and saying, hey, Denzel, when you have time, call me and teach me how to act.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not trying to be like that, but it's like, and to me, honestly, it's like, there was a point maybe earlier on where I would like get offended and take it personal. And, now that I'm like, damn, people pay me all day, every day to talk to me. So, it's not me. It's them, but it's like, well, why don't you don't trust yourself? You don't want to invest in yourself. You don't think it's important, and then how do you value your time? You want to spend days, weeks, months trying to figure stuff out and get like, I just want to learn,
yes,
learn what I got to learn. Pay somebody instead of trying to do YouTube University. Half of it's wrong, half of it's right, making mistakes, all that. Like, so just we got to do better with investing in ourselves. Invest in the business and other Black businesses, but a lot of it's not even just to support the other Black business. Support you, and that's how we'll have a bunch of. That's how we'll really uplift our community. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think it's the one thing that I love about the internet is that it has allowed people to collapse time frames. Right? You have the ability to learn from, whether it's somebody's live. I like Instagram, but it's a two-sided sword, right? So I like it because you can watch somebody like King Ashley Ann or Wall Street Trapper or something like that, Ash Cash, and you can watch them and you can get a little bit of the game. The problem that I have, I think, is when you get a little bit of the game and then you think you know something, right? So then you don't invest in yourself because you think you got everything for free, right? And I tell my daughters all the time, people that spend their lives getting over never get ahead. Never.
And I'm someone like, legit have been around each and every one of them, have their, I don't have Ashley's number, but I have had calls because I paid to have calls with her. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing with Trapper, same thing with Ash, you know what I mean? So, and I've invested in all their stuff, so it's just like, I don't know. So for me, it's just, and some of the stuff I know, but some of it I don't. So, I'm thinking about the average person, they might be a complete novice.
Yes.
And I'm willing to pay, and I might know a decent amount, and I'm still willing to do that. And sometimes it's also too, investing in your education, but it's a relationship. Now, somebody that has, invested in some of my services, now you might be able to, get me on the phone or do, you know what I mean? Because it's different. I'm going to look at you different and there'll be a different energy,
Yeah, I think people have to do a better job of understanding that once money is out of the way as an issue, the real currency is time and relationships, right? And so I think the hard part about people doing personal growth, what I found, is learning who you can trust and who you can't. So that leads to my next question. How do you build trust online in a space where it seems like everybody's an expert, right? How do you build trust for capital credit niche? You know what I mean? When everybody out there is trying to let people know that they can redo credit, it seems like there's a force of people that are either doing Forex bots or cleaning up credit, right? So how do you build trust? How do you separate yourself?
So I think it just comes, you have to be consistent, which I'm not so great at that. And I'm working on that in terms of social media. But
right.
You know, there's a lot of social proof that you can provide. Like that's one of the things that, you know, I always like show. Somebody reaches out to me now, especially, and I wasn't always doing that because I'm like, I don't gotta prove myself, like, you know. But
yeah.
Now it's like, okay, you reach out to me, like, let me just send you some screenshots, you know, and I wasn't doing that before.
Yeah.
And I still don't post, like, and you'll see it coming because I literally brought somebody on to like get the videos out there because I'm like, I gotta shoot some videos and stuff like that. But you know, it can come in time. You know, you can watch the person. You know, most people offer some type of lower tier product, you know, so that's your starter. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, you know, my products range from $27 to, you know, $2,100, you know. So you can start there. Like, okay, worst case scenario, something doesn't work out with me or whoever. Okay, you lost a couple of hundred, you know what I mean? Or less than a couple of hundred. You know, oh, you lost $15. So what? You probably lost that in your laundry, in your pants pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like,
very much so.
Yeah, it comes with the game. You win some, you lose some. Now, you don't want to lose big, but, you know, don't be afraid to invest a little something, learn what something's about, whether that's your time, whether that's a little bit of money. And so that's on the customer side. And on the business side, you know, the same thing. Like, spend a little second. Okay, let me show you, you know, some of my results. You know, let me spend time. And I think that's really where my business, where I'm seeing this type of growth, because now I'm like, all right, come on, take a minute to do the screenshots, Kimesha. You know, and now I'm telling myself the next thing, because now I got all the screenshots and all that stuff. And I got some videos and things like that. I got my social proof. So now it's like, okay, take a minute to really just do, you know, the videos. You know, I mentioned to you, like, I don't particularly love selling on social media because for me, right, and this is partially what I was doing wrong. That's probably why I'm not really attracting the right client. But for me, it's just like, cause a lot of people that, you know, waste my time on social media.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they want something that, like, I don't know. Maybe I haven't. Now,
there's some different streets on there.
Yeah, I get some sales too, you know, through there, but I just want something like my dream customer that's more direct. Like, I don't really have time to, like, and I don't want to be short. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to not get back to you. But you know, you kind of got to weigh, like, okay,
you got to build the gatekeepers. You got to put those in place. What I'm saying? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So let me ask you this, in terms of creating I guess the popular word now is the customer avatar, right? Where you say, this is my, and I was actually going to ask you this is my target person. With focusing on the business credit, is there a size entrepreneur that you particularly like to work with where you can have a turnkey system?
No, honestly, like, I have clients that are literally just starting out. And honestly, I love those clients even more personally, because maybe it's like personal for me. And I just remember me being on that journey. And then I have clients that are already running a successful business, and they have
Nice.
multiple locations, and it's just for them about like scaling and just big time capital, but I have clients with well more employees than me, and
Yeah.
making crazy revenue, and yeah, it's just about scaling. So neither one of them, I wouldn't say are, both of them are great for different reasons.
Got you.
So I prefer, if I had to like pick, I would prefer business credit uh, clients over consumer credit clients. But all the type of clients that I get for business credit are amazing.
Love
Really.
them equally. So
Yeah.
we can't do this episode without, we always talk about the different streams of income, and you got something going on Fiverr that I know is available, right? But I haven't met personally anyone that was on this side of Fiverr. Talk to me a little bit about the side venture.
So yeah, so I've been on Fiverr for a couple of years. I honestly, I love Fiverr. I made a lot of money in stock with Fiverr.
Let's go.
Yeah, man, yeah, man. All right. So I love Fiverr. I do. I spend a lot of money on Fiverr, but I also make a lot of money on Fiverr. And how I make money on Fiverr, is they have more of my dream clients, because people come to Fiverr to what? They come to Fiverr to
To
spend
work on
money.
their business. Yeah.
People come to social media to laugh sometimes, to look at oh, she looked good, he looked good,
Yeah.
look at shoes, you know what I mean? Like, they're not necessarily like in the spending mindset, in the
Yes.
business mindset. So on Fiverr, if you're coming to Fiverr, you're coming for a job.
Right. Right.
Some type of transaction. That
Absolutely.
is why you're there, point blank, period, or you wouldn't
Love
be
it.
there.
Absolutely.
So I found, for me, that's where my dream client was at. And so what I primarily do on Fiverr is I do business credit on Fiverr. I have over 100 reviews, 5-star, over 100 5-star reviews for business credit. And a lot of my clients, the majority of my clients come from there. And a lot of them, I do a lot of consultations through there. And then from the consultations, right, with any platform, you always got to take them off the platform. You got to take them off
Yes.
Instagram. You always got to take them off of Facebook, wherever, right? So the same thing, I take them off of Fiverr. So you pay me, and then the difference is I'm getting a lead, but that lead is paying me. So the
Come on.
quality of that lead is a whole nother level. Like, people are, you're spending all this money on Instagram ads and Facebook ads. And it's like, oh, some people are paying $60 for a lead, oh, if it's $10 a lead, it's a stale or whatever like that. But
Right. And then
I'm
you
not
start
paying
looking at
anything.
conversion ratios and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
But me, I'm not paying. Well, let me say this. I do now pay for leads, and I'm gonna tell you what I pay. And this is because this is new. This is something that Fiverr offers.
Okay.
So they allow now you to do ads with Fiverr.
Okay.
So I will now pay a little bit, but just to break down the numbers, I checked today. So I've spent $24, and that $24 has made me $1,200.
Let's go. That's a real ROI
and
right
and
there.
and honestly, that it's made me way more than that, because that's just what Fiverr knows. That's just through Fiverr system.
Yeah, through their portal. I
That's
love
through
it.
their border. That's not what, when I get them off the Fiverr, once I get them on a consultation, and then I show you, oh, look at this, look at this, look at what I did for this client, and I consult you, and you see, okay, what I have to offer, because that's really what I do. So you pay for a consultation
Yes.
to talk to me about business and business credit. And then throughout the consultation, I tell you at the end, some of the other things that I have available, and show you what I've been able to do for other people. And then, a good amount of time, they'll become a ongoing client of mine. And,
I
it, and
love
it's,
it.
yeah, it's that, that's that, so for me, it's just like, it's not the work. I don't have to do the posting. I don't have to do anything. I get so many messages that it's automated. Like I have pre-written things ready to go.
Yes.
Okay, somebody's gonna ask me this. Okay, here's the button. Boom, I push this. It pops up with
Yeah, the little chat box. I love
all
it.
ready to go.
I love it.
That's where I'm at.
That's strong. And one of the things that I love the most about that is your business mind, because everybody will tell you right now that Instagram for business is like the Bible. And, for somebody like me, I'm thinking like there's like 97 other apps. And I know, like LinkedIn I have people that have been on the show, all they do is LinkedIn. You will never see them on Instagram. And multimillionaires, the wealthiest people I know are, if I'm being honest, are barely on Instagram. And not to, knock the platform. Obviously, there's tons of people, King Ashley Ann, that are killing it on Instagram. But I think it's important to know where your client is, right? Where they spend time. And for you to be able to capitalize off of Fiverr is absolutely amazing, purely game changing. And that's why you're a visionary.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So getting close to wrapping up, let me ask you a couple questions. They're kind of rapid fire. I say a word, you tell me what it means to you, and then we go from there.
Oh, so not good at stuff like this. Okay, go ahead.
The first word is belief. What does the word belief mean to Kimesha Janey?
Belief means to me, I associate belief with resilience.
Okay.
I feel like you have to have a certain type of resiliency to believe. Sometimes it's easy to lose the belief and the faith, but that's what I associate that with. Like you have to, when you believe, you can't believe without being resilient.
Love it. Power.
Power. What does power mean to me? Power means impact.
Okay. I like that. I can see that. The next word would be longevity.
Longevity. Legacy.
Okay.
Legacy.
Makes sense. Debt.
Debt.
Yep. Like I'm in debt.
So I was initially going to say devil, but I disagree with that, because I definitely think there's that not all debt is bad.
Yes.
So options. Options.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Debt you have options, right? So not all debt is bad. Some debt is bad, but some debt is good. I'll have cash to buy plenty of stuff, but I'll choose to incur some debt because you don't want to tie up all your cash flow.
Yes.
So it's about having options, and having options to, use that debt and capitalize and make money from that debt. So yeah, that's how I look at debt. Debt provides you, it can and should provide you of options.
Love it. So budgeting can be a good word or a bad word, right? Just like debt. What's the guilty pleasure that Kimesha has with budgeting? Is it food? Is it a good bag? Is it vacations? What's the guilty pleasure?
For me, I would say maybe vacations. That's it's interesting because everybody, I feel like most people, they'll describe me like, oh, you're so like I don't spend on a lot of things. Like
okay.
I really don't. But then there's some things that it's like, wait, what? Like my television, I wanted an 80-inch TV. My TV is probably in my living room, maybe like 70 inches or something like that.
Sure.
And people are like, oh, that's a big TV. And I'm like, I don't want this like certain stuff, I might splurge. Like I'll just be like, yo, I want to. And you know what's crazy? I don't even watch.
You don't watch it,
but I just want like a big. I got the Bluetooth speakers in the ceiling. I just want that vibe if and when I want the vibe. So once in a blue, there'll be random things.
Yeah.
There'll be random things where I'm like, like my birthday. This is like I am about to I'm turning 40. I know I look like I'm 23. But I'm
17, but we'll run with it, No, we gotta keep you legal. We keep you legal. So that's 23. That's
I'm gonna be 40 in January, and that's gonna be a movie. I'm gonna spend a lot for me. And it's not like me, but I'm taking my family on vacation, my parents, my grandparents, and my children.
Nice.
And anybody I usually go away for my birthday. So some of my friends, if you've traveled out the country with me, you're all set. This one's on me, So that's what I'm doing for 40. And it's important for me, especially like I want to do something really special while there's no price on that. Like, I'm gonna probably spend the wedding on my birthday. You know what I mean? But it's important for me to do that and have that memory, especially for my grandparents and my parents, because tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah.
And so that's just something that I want to be able to do for them, and an experience that I want them to have. So yeah, that's something that I'm definitely gonna splurge on. But I'm preparing. That's another thing. That's important because I know how much that's gonna cost me, and I have that money now. But my plan is to make that money.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna use that money. I gotta find ways to make that money.
Absolutely.
And not feel it.
Yeah. And we can't pay no interest on it.
That's right. I already know.
I love it. What's next for Kimesha Janey, Capital Credit?
What's next for me? Team. I really want to build like a strong team. I'm working on that. And focusing on, like I said, 2021 is the year of the scale. So I'm to the point where I'm bringing people on. So I already have somebody doing, certain aspects of my social media. You'll see videos coming from me. I have to be involved in that. But I'm bringing on somebody to like put out the videos for me and edit them. Real estate. I want to add to that portfolio this year. So
nice.
That's coming for me. And really just, be in the position, the more money I make, the more money I look to make without working for it. So I make a decent amount of passive income, but the more passive income that I make, the more passive income that I want to make. And right now I don't make enough to not have to work. And that's always been my goal. I'll probably continue to work, but I want to be able to live a certain lifestyle and just, not do one consultation.
Right.
If I don't choose to, not have to really be involved in checking on a property or checking on,
Absolutely.
So that's what's next for me. Just 2021 is the year of the scale and finding more creative ways to have my money working for me.
I love it. That's strong. I can't remember where I was, but I saw something, I read something, I heard something, and they were saying that rich is the potential, wealth is what you do with the riches.
I like that. I like that.
And when I heard that, it just stuck with me. And so I agree, definitely it's time to ramp up, everything. So that's why I was excited to spend this time with you and have you on, because I know that you are helping tons of people, get their credit right on both sides of the scale. And I'm excited. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So let everybody know where they can find you, where they can follow you.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. That's probably where I'm the most active in terms of social media. My Instagram handle now is Mish underscore the underscore credit underscore pro. So Mish the credit pro underscores underneath each word. So you can find me there. I'm Kimesha Janey on Facebook and LinkedIn. Um, and my company is Financial Growth Strategies LLC. So you can go on my website and you can find me there. Financial Growth Strategies LLC.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been rocking with the great one, Kimesha Janey, and yours truly, Chuck Hawkins, here at the Hawk Vision Podcast. I hope this interview was informative. I hope we added a smile to your day, but most importantly, I hope we've helped you shorten the learning curve on your journey to success. Like, share, subscribe across all your platforms, and send your messages, send your suggestions for guests. I cannot continue to grow the show without you guys. You are my visionaries. Kimesha, I'm so appreciative that you gave us your time today. You know that you are someone that the world needs to hear from. We are absolutely honored that you spent some time with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's truly a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you so much.